All right, we're going to go ahead and open that script right back up once again. And this time we're going to add a method inside of the script that's actually going to handle spawning and firing our projectile for us. So we're going to start by typing public, because we need this method to be accessible by any other script. We're going to say public void FireProjectile, and then our open and close parentheses and our curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, we're going to start by calling a local variable a game object projectile. And this is going to store the information about the projectile prefab that we're actually going to spawn in our scene. So we're going to say set that equal to instantiate. That word instantiate with the angled brackets next to it, and then game object inside of those angled brackets, and then projectile prefab inside of the parentheses next to that. On the next line, we want to set our projectiles dot transform dot position equal to our fire point dot position, and then our vector3 player position, which is another local variable. That means it's a variable that we can only use inside this method. And we're going to set that player position vector equal to our game object dot find, open and close parentheses, and then inside the parentheses in quotation marks the word player. That's just the name of our player game object in our scene. That's going to allow our enemy to be able to track where our player is every time they fire that projectile. And we're going to say find player dot transform dot position. And then we're going to actually add 1 to the Y value of that position. The reason for that is our player's position is actually going to be the player's feet, where the bottom of the player is located, whether that's the capsule or you have a character animated. It's going to be, your player's position is going to be at their feet. So we add 1 so that we're not shooting our projectile at the character's feet, but instead, up into their chest or face area. So we're going to say player position dot y plus equals 1. It's just going to add 1 to that y value. And then finally, we want to say projectile dot get component, and then in angled brackets rigid body. And the rigid body is a component that allows us to manipulate physics on our game object. We're going to say get component rigid body, and then just open and close parentheses dot velocity. We're going to set that equal to in parentheses player position minus firepoint dot position dot normalized times projectile speed. And what that's going to do is subtracting the fire point's position from our player's position gives us a line from the fire point to the player. I know that might not make a lot of sense right now, but trust me, that's how the math works out. Using this dot normalized method here allows us to actually set the value of this line to a size of 1. So the line isn't actually the full distance, it's only a value of 1, but then we multiply that value of 1 times our projectile speed to ensure that our projectile is going to move at exactly the projectile speed we have listed. Once you've got that done, go ahead and save your script.